Good morning. This is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Prescribed Fire and Smoke Briefing for Friday, November 21st, 2025. Prescribed fire activity looks like it's picking up a bit over Utah and western Idaho with a number of prescribed fires ongoing or planned. Precipitation for the past 7 days is shown here on the left. It doesn't show the precipitation that we had yesterday, but definitely does show some of the precip from this latest round of storms, mainly over the southern parts of the Great Basin and then some over the central Idaho Mountains a little bit before that. The percent of normal for the past 17 days, again showing much above normal precipitation received over southern Nevada, parts of southern Utah, Arizona Strip, even western Nevada here, with some areas with pretty low precipitation, almost no precipitation in the central parts of the Great Basin, and central Idaho Mountains are quite a bit below normal as well. Snow for the past 72 hours, again not showing what we saw yesterday, but still highlighting the fact that we have seen some high elevation snow over our southern mountains. And then the snow depth shown here on the right, again, still some snow in place over the western Wyoming mountains and parts of central Idaho, the Uintas, but not quite where we need to be this time of year. If we look at the snowpack, it's a bit of a dismal picture, but it's still early days as far as the winter season goes. But snowpack is pretty poor across Idaho, Wyoming, northern Utah, northern Nevada. The Sierra Front's looking pretty good, and of course, central and southern Utah, where we've seen those recent storms, are definitely seeing a pretty decent snowpack heading into the end of November. This morning's satellite imagery showing that low pressure system in place once again over Southern California. It's going to slowly make its way eastward over the coming days, keeping some precipitation in the forecast over the far southern part of the Great Basin. Otherwise, we're looking at some clear conditions in the short term. So again, today that low is going to slowly move eastward across the southwest with some precipitation clipping far southern Utah. Ventilation rates are decreasing as we see lighter winds and a more stagnant air mass. Again, generally light winds across much of the Great Basin today, and mixing heights are on the lower end. Precipitation for today is going to be focused mainly over Southern California. Maybe we'll see a few little isolated storms there in southern Nevada and kind of the Arizona Strip area, and then maybe some isolated storms in eastern Utah. Maximum temperatures are on the cooler side with highs near 50 degrees. Tomorrow that low continues to track eastward. Ventilation rates remaining pretty low across the northern parts of the area. As the low tracks across the southwest, the winds will pick up a bit over the far southern part of the Great Basin, where mixing heights will be a little bit higher as well, but low values across the north. On Saturday, continued precipitation is expected there, of course, across the southwest, but we won't see very much across the Great Basin with drying occurring behind that low. Minimum temperatures overnight are going to be dipping down or continue to dip down towards freezing. Some favorable areas in Nevada will be even down lower than that, down into the 20s. Sunday should be kind of generally a continuation of the quiet pattern as that low moves over to the Rocky Mountain area. Light winds on Sunday with low mixing heights across much of the area, maybe a little bit higher over southern Utah. And the precip on Sunday is expected to generally be fairly clear, except maybe a little bit of a few storms over southeast Utah associated with that low as it exits. And then we do start to see a low pressure system moving into the Pacific Northwest, Northern Rockies, which will begin to bring some light precip to the central Idaho Mountains beginning on Sunday. Minimum temperatures, or this is maximum temperatures rather, still holding strong in the 50s. The 3-day precip totals, again, showing us a little bit of precip in the short term to the south, and then maybe a little bit of precip coming in beginning on Sunday across the north. Forecasted clearing index for Utah isn't looking real great for the next couple of days. There are a few spots out there, southwest Utah, that could be favorable. And then by Sunday, maybe we'll see some better values in the eastern part of the state. On Monday, that trough moving through the northern Rockies will bring some precipitation to the central Idaho Mountains. Ventilation rates really increase on Monday as we see some increasing winds as that trough tracks to the north. And on Tuesday, again, kind of cool northerly flow in place. Ventilation rates will still be somewhat favorable for Utah and Idaho. And then on Wednesday, another chance for precipitation coming into the central Idaho Mountains. Generally still on the drier side over Utah and Nevada. And then on Thursday, looking for Thursday to be generally a quieter day for precipitation. Maybe some precip still lingering across the north. Ventilation rates are going to be decreasing for Thursday. 7-day precip totals are shown here. Again, the precip across the south is in the short term, and then the precip across the north will start on Sunday, but it looks like the bigger days right now are going to be Monday and Wednesday for some of that precip. Of course, that timing could change. And then the forecasted snowfall for the next 7 days, focusing kind of across the north with that next colder storm moving in early next week for Central Idaho Mountains and western Wyoming. Then the extended forecast for November 28th to December 4th keeps temperatures near normal across the west and maybe below normal over the north and east. And we see a slight chance for above normal precipitation over Idaho and Nevada and maybe a little bit higher for Utah. That concludes today's briefing. Please check back on Monday for the latest updates.